TJ, update us on conference realignment and your sources, what you're hearing, what you're smelling, what you're feeling, what's going on.
They're wild times, and I think it all depends on how you want to look at this, right? But basically, the entire fight that Florida State and Clemson, presumably Clemson, I would imagine, are building around getting out of the ACC grant of rights is centered around getting out of that I guess it's more so that huge exit fee by 2036, or at least so you and Florida State and Clemson and myself, we all thought that was the year that they were going to have to pay until, I think it was, what was it, 20, I'm trying to remember the years now. So their original deal ends in 25 and then it extended through 2036. So they were going to have to pay this huge exit fee to get out of the grant of rights from 25 through 36. So that 10-year, I don't remember the number. It was absurd, like some ridiculous amount. But news is going to come out probably this week. I'd be shocked if it's not already kind of trickling out now. But back in 2021, I think it was, ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips basically wrote up an extension to the grant of rights. It was kind of like a hand drafted document that said, hey, we will extend the grant of rights from 2025 through 2036. I'm going to sign off on it. Like he signed off on it and he sent it off to ESPN. And however, no new grant of rights was ever actually formally drawn up. It wasn't sent out to all of the ACC team members. No one signed it other than Jim Phillips. He signed it, sent it off, which now makes this whole thing null and void.
That ain't holding up in a court of law.
Yeah. So
What?
no grant of rights was created.
Wow.
Nothing was written up. No team is aware of it. The only reason they think they have a grant of rights deal beyond 2025, I think is technically the year, is because the ACC told them that they did. And ESPN is kind of working off that because the commissioner signed it. But technically, with grant of rights, every school is also supposed to sign them. Essentially,
we're sticking together till 36.
Yeah, so the grant of rights, as they know it today, is null and void.
What?
The extension aspect of it, that is, right? So the ACC's grant of rights, as we know it, it technically ends in 2025. So what does that mean for Florida State? What does that mean for Clemson? Well, now they only have to pay the conference exit fees. They don't have that huge, ridiculous bajillion dollar payout. Now it's something like 200 million, I think, to get out of the conference, something like that. I'm probably butchering the dollar amount there, but so if you're Florida State, you're Clemson, you just got to fork up the 200 million. And I guess that applies for any other team that has real interest in leaving. Could it be UVA, Virginia Tech, UNC, NC State, whoever. I think we've seen everything drawn up under the sun. So what do you do with that information, right? The ACC is a conference that I thought Memphis had a real shot at joining, right? You're going to have some teams leave. They're going to need to just kind of fill up the rest of it, right? If you look at the Big 12, who are their biggest home run hitters, right? Who are their perennial powerhouse teams? They're considered a power conference, right? They're the big three.
For now. Yeah.
Who do they have? Now you have ACC, they lose Florida State, Clemson, probably from top to bottom. Even if they added the best of the rest of the G5s, right? They're probably still not top to bottom better than the Big 12, but at the same time, they're not really that much worse, in my opinion. I mean, like you could have, and I guess this all depends on who leaves the ACC, right? Like Memphis could have one really good year in a new drawn up ACC, and it could be them. It could be SMU, which brings up.
I think it also depends on it's been Florida State, Clemson, if they leave and go to the Big 12, and then Louisville and whoever, right? Then the Big 12 is obviously a step ahead. But even whatever's left over with the ACC, if you get added to that, it is better than where you're at right now.
So let's assume all of this comes to light this week. It breaks out. Your Cal, your SMU, your Stanford, you just gave up where you're at. Granted, Cal and Stanford, you're on sinking sand. What about SMU? They're playing for free right now.
Yeah, they're not getting anything anyway.
They're not getting anything. So they just left to be duped by the ACC thinking. And I don't know if the ACC deceived everyone on purpose, or if this was just like, hey, I signed it. I thought we were good. I didn't know all you guys need to sign it as well. Like, I'm the commissioner. I work for you all. I'm a representation of you all.
Well, how would that
I'm
work with
assuming-
SMU? They would have to have signed a grant of rights to play in the ACC as well.
I thought so too. I really did think anytime you have a change of that whole process, they have to sign off on something, as would Cal, I would Stanford. But
watch SMU be the only one to have signed it other than the commissioner.
Yeah, something like that, right? But I think one thing that this could go a couple different ways, right? Think about 2026, the ACC technically would not have a TV deal. I guess they're still technically a conference. They just wouldn't have a media rights deal. Obviously, they'd have to build something out real quickly.
Bluff City Media will get in on that, and we'll broadcast all the games. This will be your 3-man booth right here.
Let's go.
I think it could work out good in the long run for Florida State and Clemson, because they would, essentially just have absolutely all of the power here. They could go to Florida State, and Florida State would have their back against the wall, despite, probably everyone hates them because they just got caught lying to them, again, on purpose or not, I don't know. But you could be like, hey, we want all of that money that we think we deserve. Pay us the, whatever the number is, right? I don't know what they make now. Pay us the $40 million a year, and then give everybody else their value, be it 30 million, whatever the numbers are. We're just making up stuff right now, but they could do that. They could stick there. I don't know that the SEC and the Big 10 and the Big 12 truly want to expand. I think the only reason they talk about expanding is because they have the fear of everyone else expanding into those markets. But if the ACC ends up staying together, SEC has 16, Big 10 has 18, and Big 12 has
16.
16.
Yeah,
they have 16. So like, what kind of real expansion are we actually going to have here? Assuming in that life, the ACC builds it out, gives Florida State, gives Clemson what they want. Everyone else sticks around because no one else truly wants to expand anyhow, right? That's kind of the vibe it feels like, because the Big 10 doesn't know what they have right now. They've just added a lot to their conference. They don't know what they're going to have. Are you going to be watering down the product of Michigan, of Penn State, Ohio State by adding these teams, and you're just going to keep adding more? They're obviously selective on who they're adding. If you're the SEC, you don't really need anything. What do you need to add? What does adding a Virginia or Virginia Tech give you other than a new market? It's like you have a Vanderbilt already. It's not like you need GPA boosters. It's not. There's no team you can add that's really going to make your product better. You're already the best. So what do you add? What do you get by adding anything? So it's interesting. We'll see how it goes. But I guess at the same time, you could have worst case scenario, and you could be the ACC, and all this falls apart, and you've got some combination of Wake Forest, Syracuse, Boston College, and two teams, a 2-team pairing of Georgia Tech, Pitt, Louisville. Who are the best? Who is left in the ACC outside of Florida State, Clemson, NC State, UNC, Virginia Tech? Like, who is left out of that? Right?
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if this all comes to light and this ACC deal is done in 26. What's going to happen?
Jesus.
Yeah. We'll find out. I expect this to hit this week. I would be shocked if people don't start talking about it at this point in time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. So just
right.
just remember,
I don't know if that's true.
When USA Today puts it out,
You heard it from TJ.
TFT was your boy, first and foremost.